welcome to the podcast, Can You Take My Shift? Your favorite coworkers are off the clock and back for another episode. Amy, I don't know about you, but I really like to roleplay. So if you would do me the honor, I'm going to play your daughter. You are going to play my mom. Mom, it's such a hard job market out there. I don't know what to do.
Have you tried a side hustle? Like what all young millennials are doing nowadays? Have you tried harder getting a job?
I mean, you told me to bring my resume in person, and they looked at me and then shot me.
That got dark real fast.
Welcome back to the podcast. Now, if you enjoyed our little role play, I don't think Amy did.
It was a weird power dynamic.
Oh yeah, you were supposed to be my mom. Well, the biggest thing you ask any millennial is, growing up, our parents were, if we needed a job, we were told to take our resume in person, to go down there, and to not leave until they give us a job. Well, now you will get shot if you do that. Not really. Well, I don't know. You know America. They like their guns. But anyways, here in Canada, but also in America, the job market today is awful. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to joke here, joke there. Nah, let's just get into it. It is absolutely terrible. So, Amy has been away. There was no episode last week because Amy was, I don't know, in America seeing the love of their life, which is super disgusting and very selfish of them.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a rehearsal dinner for my father-in-law's wedding. He is now married. Congratulations, Greg. Congratulations to my new stepmother-in-law. God, I have so many.
Don't think too hard about it.
Yeah, but it was a wonderful wedding. They both said I do, as one can hope at a wedding. I did win giant. Yeah, I did win giant Jenga. Although I'm gonna tell an embarrassing story about myself because this is probably the most lighthearted thing this podcast will be. I said we were going to get right into it, but then I thought back, you know what? Nah, let's start it off fun. So, went to this wedding. So I'm a hot girl, and hot girls have stomach issues. I have been trying to figure out what's triggering my stomach issues. So I decided to go off caffeine. No, not caffeine, coffee. Because I had a Red Bull and that didn't do anything to me.
Yeah.
So I haven't had coffee and I haven't had dairy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're eating dinner and I go to the mashed potatoes and I ask the person at the buffet, do these have dairy in them? And she goes, I don't know, probably not. So I was like, okay, usually mashed potatoes do, but she said probably not. And it was very, very few things I could eat.
Mm-hmm.
They had lasagna, pasta, all dairy.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I might be safe to mashed potatoes. They were fantastic mashed potatoes. So I had a second helping.
I was going to say, if they were fantastic mashed potatoes, they
had dairy.
99% had dairy in them because you cannot have good mashed potatoes without dairy in them.
No, we lived in the South. The South know how to make mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
So I proceeded to then get a little extremely wine drunk because when you're drinking wine and you don't realize how much wine you've drank?
Yes, all the time.
So I then proceeded to vomit on my sister-in-law's car and my beautiful dress. However, I did not vomit in her car. I vomited on her car.
So you saved yourself some money on paying for upholstery cleaning.
And cleaning bills. Yeah, upholstery cleaning, because we all know upholstery is the hardest thing to get out. When I one time had somebody puke in my car, but she puked on the floor mat, and it wasn't a rubber floor mat.
Oh, no.
It was just... Yeah, so I threw that thing out.
Yep.
Because I washed it 3 times, and the smell could not come out, so I just threw it out.
Yep, not worth keeping.
No. So that was my weekend. But I want to say the moral of this story is be the person who wakes up the next morning with a bucket of soap and water and goes and cleans off that car right away. Be a good sloppy drunk.
Yes.
Yes. So we didn't have the podcast.
Yeah.
But we are back, and we did, if you did miss the Mario Gauntlet, it went fantastic. Lee, terrible because I lost. So Trevor did qualify. So our top four, for those of you who are extremely invested, which you should be, is going to be Cleffa versus Amy versus Emma versus Trevor. So, and I shall be hosting because will be there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I thought that going into it, I thought Dawson was going to win. But we learned that although Big D may be one of the top Smash players in the world, signed by a major organization, he sucks at Mario Party.
I know we always say that like Mario Party is basically a crapshoot because it's a lot of like RNG, it's a lot of luck. But I've never seen a man be so bad at these mini games. I don't fully understand.
But you know what? He has other talents.
Yeah, I want to say like maybe like Dawson's a big guy. He's what, like 6'5"? Like he's tall.
No, 6'8".
Sorry, oh god, yeah. He is a tree of a man. He's a human tree. Maybe his hands are too big for the little Joy-Cons. I don't know. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, oh boy. It was a time.
It was a time. But yes, so that's what you missed on Glee. I also went to Battle of BC for those Smashers. I want to say this in the nicest way possible. Actually, no, this is going to be mean. I was a VIP at the Nerd Convention, and it was fantastic.
That's okay.
That's okay. So it was in Canada Place. Like, it was huge. And I was like, wow, like, you guys, like, it was a fantastic event. Such a success. Like, I'm so proud of Trevor and the team. And Trevor's like, oh, there's a VIP room. Let's go up to the VIP room. And I was like, okay. And Trevor's like, you're a VIP. Don't worry. And I'm like, oh, I'm a VIP. I'm a VIP at the Super Smash Brothers tournament. MK Leo, who? So I go in there and it's like the lamest thing, and I was like, okay.
It's just like it's to make you like try to feel a little bit special.
Yeah. And then we are going to the after party is at a boat party because I was adamant there be a boat party, and the organizer, I want to say, he listened to me. I've let him in my house, so he better listen. He listened to me. It's not because it is a fantastic idea that he was already thinking about. It's because of me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So our friend Ash goes to me, are you going in the limo? And I was like, what do you mean limo? And Trevor's like, oh, I was going to surprise you, but a limo is going to take us to the boat party. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Absolutely. I get to go. And then I got a little annoyed because I was a VIP, but I was listed as like Trevor's fiance on everything. And I was like, I have a name. I have a person. I'm not a +1. I'm a VIP in my own right. Excuse me. I have had 2 viral TikToks.
Do you know who I am?
You know whom I am?
Don't you know me from such TikToks as the mushroom toadstool?
Yeah.
And the parkour dog.
And the exploding.
Oh, the outhouse. Yeah, I forgot about that
The
one.
exploding outhouse. Yeah, no. Viral sensations.
There you go.
Yeah. But yes, so we took the limo to the boat party. It was fantastic. And then it got me thinking, did you, like, I don't know why I thought this, but a limo is not as expensive as I thought.
No, they're not.
They're really not. It was like $100 an hour.
Bad.
Yeah, because it's, when you think about like an Uber XL trip, and if you're driving for an hour, that costs usually more.
Yeah, it really just depends.
Yeah. So, but I talked to a lot of people at this tournament, and to wrap it back up to the beginning of this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
it is a hard time to be a capitalist employee
Sure is.
because we are major layoffs first started in the tech industry, because in the tech industry during COVID, everyone was so dependent on watching YouTube, Twitch, like on social media, because we had nothing to do. So all these tech companies hired boatloads of people because they could all work remote.
Yeah.
And now every single day is layoff, 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 and layoff. Like, I have had multiple people in my life been laid off. So a family member of mine, they were very high up in this company.
Mm-hmm.
This company completely restructured the whole thing, because so she worked for an alcohol company, and also alcohol has been hit hard
Yeah.
because during the pandemic we were all alcoholics.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was drinking boxed wine, like I fell far. And people are buying less alcohol now because you can do things. And another thing is, especially in Canada, we put more and more liquor taxes on top of it.
Yeah.
So her company completely restructured, and then she got laid off. And then I have another friend who their work was underpaying them, and a bunch of the employees caught it, and it was like, oh no, did we do that? So she quit.
Yeah, because that's not okay.
Yeah, it's not
Especially
okay.
if you're just gonna play it off like, oops, no, you're a company. Don't do that.
Yeah. And both of them are in the job market, and it is one of the worst job markets like I have ever seen. I don't know if you want to talk about some of the layoffs that you've witnessed.
Yeah, so like Kelsey mentioned, the tech industry is one that got hit really hard, and a lot of the companies I will say, like, a lot of the companies will blame it on the fact that, oh, it was because of COVID and they mass hired and now they just can't handle it. And it is somewhat of that, and then it is somewhat of managing expectations. A lot of the tech layoffs started like super high in tech, like Facebook Meta laid off a whole bunch of people. There was those mass like Twitter layoffs when Elon Musk got into office, and a lot of those were ones shown of like people just like not being able to go into work. They could not log into their laptops, and like you've just been seeing like people are going on TikTok and are really being like, yeah, so I just got laid off today. Or there was that really viral TikTok that went around with the Wes Anderson trend of this lady who was like, watch me film myself being laid off from my job, because she was just wanting to film a really cute, like, day in my life video. And she ended up filming her reaction to her getting laid off. And yeah. I could not imagine that happening. Like, that's absolutely terrifying. But this week, lots of gaming companies have had major layoffs. My company included. I'm not going to go too heavy into it. I was not impacted. I don't want to say fortunately, because it doesn't feel fortunate. It just feels like I was missed by this much. Like, it was just luck of the draw. And I was talking to a coworker today about it, and this is probably not like a very good comparison, but it's the easiest one I can think of, and it's almost like you have survivor's guilt. Like you just went through something, and it's somewhat traumatic in a sense, and you just kind of have to continue on your day. Like, these layoffs happened. I wasn't even at work that day, and I got all these messages from people. And I was getting messages after messages from coworkers who were either A, still there, or B, got laid off. And it was a really weird like juxtaposition. And when I got into work today, I had a whole bunch of coworkers going like, hey, you weren't here yesterday, like, how are you doing? And I even had one coworker go, oh, thank God you're still here, like I can still message you. Because there was some Slack channels where you would just go in and you would see deactivated profile after deactivated profile after deactivated profile. And I was like, this is really sad. Some people in my work have decided to take the rest of the week off, as they should. It's their right to, you know, deal with this however they can, especially when you work with a whole bunch of people and your team goes from a large number of people to a very small number of people. You know, like, that's not something you take very lightly. So it's been a little bit of a ride. I also had a family member whose tech company also got hit by layoffs. They are also still employed. But it just feels weird. My company had layoffs back in like October, November of last year. But during those layoffs, it was really jarring at the time, but they were allowed to like work up until the end of December, so they could enjoy all the holiday festivities. They could take their time. They were still employed. Like, they kind of knew it was ending, but you know, they had a little bit of time to like say goodbyes and things like that. Whereas this round of layoffs, people were cut off. Like, I had one coworker said she was cut off at 9:30 a.m. I had another one said she was cut off at like 1. People went into the office that day and then had to leave after their meetings. And all I could think about is our office is going through like a weird transitional period. I take a lot of meetings at my desk and it's an open floor plan. I could not imagine especially if that meeting was just randomly put on, I would have probably been sitting at my desk and just having that news be out in the public. Oh my God, I'd have a huge mental breakdown right then and there. There's no just like thinking about it stresses me out. So I can't even imagine what my poor like coworkers are going through that got laid off. So yeah, it's not a fun time. It feels really weird. But yeah, that's how I've been experiencing it. Again, I want to say like I am very lucky. Like I am lucky to have a job, but in this instance, like it doesn't feel good.
No. And that is very understandable, because now more work is going to get piled on your plate.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's these industries, because it's going through everything's going through quarters right now. So people got laid off around November, and November is when the work for like Trevor blew up.
Yeah.
But that was completely unrelated.
Yeah.
But it goes through these quarters. And I remember when your work laid off a bunch of people before Christmas, and I was still at my old firm, so I was perusing the job boards, and then quick side note, before I met the love of my life, I was dating around Vancouver. I was dating this man, and you know, Amy never met him, but I told him all about him. Amy goes to a work party. I don't know if I've told the story.
You haven't. I was gonna say, I think I know the story you're gonna tell, so continue. It's a good story.
So Amy's like talking to her coworker, and she's like talking about this guy she used to date, and Amy's like, that sounds like a guy like my roommate used to date. And Amy, because
I would just like to preface, during this work party I was at, Kelsey was not there, and I was with this coworker, and we were so drunk. We were so drunk. And I don't even know how we got on the topic. She had started talking about how she was dating this guy who worked in like theme parks. Like, he worked in theme parks.
Yeah, he was a mechanical engineer that designed roller coasters.
Yeah, and so he did a lot of like the ride vehicles, and she had went to a convention where they were talking about these ride vehicles, and I was like, oh, that's so crazy. Like my bestie also dated a guy who also worked in ride vehicles. I was like, how long ago did you date him? And she was like, oh, like about a year ago. Like, he had just come back from Dubai. And I was like, That's really interesting because my bestie broke up
Mhm.
with this man about 2 years because, like 2 years ago, because he was going to Dubai.
Yeah.
And like Vancouver is a big city, but there ain't
That's
that
so
yeah,
small.
but there ain't that many people working in mechanical engineering for roller coasters who also went to Dubai.
Yeah. Who are
So
also in like our age group.
yeah, who are also in our age group. So
Yeah.
me being crazy and never deleting absolutely anything off my phone, I was like, I think I have a photo of this man. And so I go and I grab my phone and I'm like, hold on, hold on. And I could tell she's like, again, we were both very drunk and she was just like
Mhm.
all over the place. And I go and I find the photo that Kelsey sent of me with this dude, just, for safety. I needed to know what he
For
looked
safety.
like
Yeah.
outside of his dating profile. So I go and I was like, is this him? And she went, holy shit, yes. I was like, wow, it's like, it's a small fucking world.
Yeah.
It was so wild. Sorry, I totally stole
No,
the
it's
story,
okay. It is
but...
your story. So the next work party Amy had, I met her, and literally, like, the dude has a type, like, same height, cute, like, cutesy little round faces, like that dry, that like, I don't know.
like the same kind
She
of
was
like
like,
dry humor. I would say she was a little
yeah,
bit more on like the gothic side, so she was a bit more
yeah,
like dark and you're a bit more like light. So like
mhm,
same person, like different fonts essentially.
yeah. So it was really funny, and we talked about it. So and then she was like one of the only coworkers because it was really awkward. So we go to Amy's Christmas party and we talked to her and she got laid off. And it was like big sad because she was one of your only coworkers that I knew because we weirdly dated the same man. And I go on LinkedIn in January and her position they're hiring for. So I was like, you just laid off this great person. Why are you hiring for this position?
Yeah, that to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know a lot that goes into that. I want to say it
Mhm.
has to do with like money, and essentially what it comes down to is, like you said, businesses work in quarters. So Q1, Q2,
Yeah.
Q3, Q4. First half of year is Q1. We're currently in Q2. We're about to go into quarter three. I don't think it's like super soon, but like kind of the summer leads into Q3, and then Q4 is the last one. It's like the holiday
Yeah.
months. And so Q2 and Q4 are usually the very like business money heavy. Businesses have to show that
Mhm.
they're profitable in those quarters. So that is again why layoffs happen in those quarters. You'll see it now and then you'll see it again at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Um and I think the reason why they're able to post that job again in January, because it's a new quarter, they hope to make
Yeah.
more money, they hope to continue going forward, so on and so forth.
Mhm. I don't know if they hired anyone for it because our roommate Mason he got laid off in at the same time as well.
Yes.
So I got him to apply to the job, but we never heard anything from it. Um, but it's crazy out because for me, so I went to school to do something that I wanted to do, and currently not doing that because it's a real hard time to be in marketing right now.
Yeah.
Real bad time to be in marketing.
It's not
So
great.
so I'm a legal assistant. And the thing is do I like being a legal assistant? Meh. It is what it is. It's an office, it's corporate office work. Is my job really safe? Yes, I just passed my 3-month probation literally 2 days ago, so I can say this. And
Ooh.
girl got her benefits, so she immediately called the dentist and booked a dentist appointment.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. And the thing which is nice about law, so I work in labor law.
Mm,
There's always going to be labor disputes.
always. As long as
People
there's
are
businesses, there's
yeah,
gonna be labor disputes.
like unless obviously the world goes up in flames and it turns into like The Last of Us, people are gonna, while we are still a semi civilized society, people are going to need lawyers. So it's pretty secure for now. I don't
Yeah.
know, unless AI is going to take my job. I don't.
I mean, AI is gonna come for my job first, so
Yeah.
you got some time until they can make like an impartial robot?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think
So
we'll be seeing any like judge AIs anytime soon because
no.
robots can't can't be impartial.
No. So I'm not looking for a new job, but I keep LinkedIn kind of like I have a few alerts just in case, it's one of those things where I'm not looking for a new job, but if my dream job popped up, I would probably apply.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I get this LinkedIn alert. Oh, actually, I get two LinkedIn alerts. The first one is who viewed your profile. Now, I've only ever told as an adult two men that I was dating that I loved them. I tell my friends I love them all the time.
As you should.
Well, like I tell everyone I love them and I give them little forehead kisses. But I've only been in love with two men in my entire adult life. I don't count saying I love you to my high school boyfriend. My prefrontal cortex was not developed. I was an idiot.
Fair.
One of them is Trevor. The other one has this new thing where when we broke up because he was a cheating, lying bastard, I blocked him on everything. And this, I want to repeat, was 7 years ago. This man, his new thing is once a year, he views my LinkedIn profile. He did it last year and he did it this year. And it's the exact same time.
That's such a weird way to stalk someone on the internet. Like, to view
So weird.
And especially because, for the most part, LinkedIn shows you who's viewed your profile. So there'd be times where, like, I think you clicked on my profile one time and I was like, hey, what you doing? Like, it's like a joking thing. Mm-hmm. But also, when you know, like, someone and it happens to be your ex who you have blocked on every other platform, to see them on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Like, sir, go get a hobby. Find something else to do.
It's been 7 years. I'm like, dude, what is your problem? You cheated on me. Like, I don't know. It was so random that he, like, because, one off, he did it last year. I was like, all right, maybe it was an accident. But the fact it was the same time, exactly a year later, I'm like, dude.
Yeah, like, I could see it, like, once by accident, because, look, everyone's curious. Like, everyone's curious, and especially if you go on LinkedIn, you're like, is this the person I know?
Yeah.
Because, there could be lots of Kelseys out there. Probably is. But the fact that it's been now, again, after another year, and it's not like on LinkedIn you're posting like, oh, I got engaged. Like, we are not LinkedIn people. LinkedIn is not our social media of choice.
I don't post anything on LinkedIn. I only update LinkedIn when I'm looking for a new job.
Yeah, I'll share things every once in a while, but I don't open LinkedIn.
Yeah. So I thought that was wild. So I get that notification. Obviously, I sent it to Amy, but and then we, have a kiki. We talk about it. But I get another notification. Of course, my internet cuts out right at this time. My Wi-Fi is terrible in my house. Okay, so a marketing coordinator for Live Nation, so entertainment in Vancouver.
Yes.
Okay, now it's funny. It was posted 1 day ago. 420 applicants. Nice. For a full-time entry-level position 1 day ago. And I remember checking it because I got the notification and it had only been like 2 hours. I think there was over 300.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy right now.
That's how bad the market is.
Yeah.
And even when you read through it, let me see, what do they want? Oh, they want a bachelor's degree in business marketing communications and a bunch of other stuff.
See, it's funny they say that, but I bet you if you have experience, they'll take that too. Or there's lots of places right now, and LinkedIn is really bad for doing this. They'll say it's an entry-level position, but then when you scroll through, it says you need 2 to 5 years experience. That's not entry level. That's not entry level.
Like, we've lost the plot. Businesses have lost the plot. They don't know what entry level means anymore. Entry level means, like, McDonald's is entry level.
Yeah.
Like...
Or I could see, like, you're looking for maybe somebody who's, like, coming out of university, or if you said like even if you're like 6 months, because if someone did an internship, they could technically say that that is work experience.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the problem, is nobody can afford to do internships anymore unless you have rich parents.
Yeah.
Like, let's call a spade a garden tool. You got rich parents, you can afford an internship. If you are a person who is supporting yourself, you can't afford to just not work and do an internship.
I'm sorry, did you say call a spade a gardening tool?
Yeah. Have you never heard that term before?
No. I've heard call a spade a spade. Why am I calling a spade a gardening tool?
It's saying it's different words mean the same thing.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's okay. It's a weird Francicism, okay?
Okay. Well, I'll let
You
Francis
know-
have it. I'm just asking. Just asking.
For those who don't know, my mother's name is Frances, and she has some Francicisms. One is hoarding fast food napkins. That is one she's really passed off on to me.
That's just a white family thing.
Yeah, but like I always used to say when someone's like, "Why are you taking so many napkins?" I was like, I used to go to I attended the Francis Pizza School of Napkin Hoarding. Thank you very much. I have an honors degree.
Honestly, yeah, I think I have like a stack of napkins in my little like bag right now, just from like a fast food place I went to when I was in California.
Okay, but they come in handy. I
They're
don't know
very
how many
handy,
times.
yeah.
They're very handy.
Very handy.
But anyways, that has been this episode has been brought to you by Francisisms.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So the job market is just absolutely like messed up right now. And it's messed up from lower level to upper levels. Like, for example, my friend who's looking for a lower level position has had probably 20 interviews, applied to over 100 jobs, nothing. My other person in my family who has applied to a few very high up positions, nothing. It's just a mess right now. And for me, I know even though like I'm not doing what I would love to be doing, there is no reason I should leave my job right now.
Yeah.
Because it is not an employee's market. No, we had that brief sweet spot where it was an employee's market where everybody was hiring, and you could like I had like every single job I applied for, I was getting a job interview. I literally I had 3 job offers, and I went with the one that offered me the second most money, but the one that said they were going to offer me the most money gave me a bad feeling. To now, like, I remember when I was looking for this job, I applied to quite a few firms, had a few interviews, didn't get anywhere. The only reason I got my job was because of a friend of a friend. A friend of mine knew somebody who worked at my firm who I literally got the job before the position even went live.
Wow.
Yeah. They interviewed me before they even posted the position. And like, unless you know somebody right now, you are not getting a job unless you want to be a server, and we all know what fresh hell the serving industry is.
Even that's not worth it. Like, no one wants to work in food service anymore because you get treated so horrendously. Like, I have a friend who, like, her job, same boat as me, like, layoffs, and it's not going well. Like, it's just so stressful all the time. And she talks about how much money she used to rake in as a server. Like, you used to make so much money, and you still can. And I asked her, just joking, I'm like, would you ever, like, go back? And she's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not worth the stress. I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
No, it's not at all. I was a server for years. I was a server, a bartender, and I hated my life. I never want to go back to that. I don't want to be ever cry in a walk-in freezer ever again. Like, you wonder why those limes were so salty? I cried beside the limes in the walk-in fridge.
See, now we just cry in meeting rooms.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what you do now.
Or in the bathroom like a normal person. Because the thing was, like, service workers got treated so horrifically during the pandemic and not only from patrons, but also from employers, because they got laid off within a moment's notice because restaurants are closed, restaurants are open, restaurants are closed. People took all their, the lockdown did cause a lot of grief to people, and grief is something that everybody handles differently.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
It is an emotion that a lot of people don't know how they will experience it until they experience it. And this was kind of like this was kind of a loss of living, right?
Yeah.
We were all used to living a certain way, and suddenly everything was just taken away from us. And people took it out on people in different ways. So some people, like me, drank a little way too much, and some people decided to be rude to the poor kid at McDonald's, just doing their job.
We all cope differently.
Exactly. Some of us cope in healthier ways, and some of us do not cope in healthy ways, and it's really kind of a crapshoot on what you're gonna get. And I know for me, as we've said this, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face, I think everybody should work customer service once in their life.
Oh, because 100%.
Because if you don't understand what you project onto other people. So I'm always extremely nice to customer service workers. The only people I am not nice to is those people with the orange lanyards who stand outside the SkyTrain station and go, "Hey, can I talk to you?" No.
I got a bus. I got a bus to catch.
I gotta go. Like, I put my headphones, like, I've had some of them follow me. I mean, the one time some guy was like, "Hey, you look nice," and I was like, "I'm not."
Nope.
No, those are the only people I'm rude to, because they will just once the one guy followed me, I was like, no, I don't have time for you people. If I'm clearly looking down at the ground, don't go, hey.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, but if I walk into H&M, all those employees I know hate their life, I'm very polite to them.
Yeah.
But like, you should just be a polite person in general.
You really should.
It's like, you don't even have to be. There's a difference between being nice to everyone and just being polite to everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
No. So I see why people don't want to go into that industry. So that industry is literally just hiring anyone they can because no one wants to be in it. But then everyone wants to be in like a place like in my new firm. I answer a phone a quarter of the amount I answered at my old firm, and it is so nice. Like, it is so nice. I did have, I don't know, can I talk about this? I don't know if I can talk about this.
I don't know. That's on you.
I don't know. No, I can, because I don't know if it was a prank. I think this was a prank call, or maybe just a conspiracy theorist. So I got a phone call the other day going, I want to sue the government because they're in my house. They're listening to everything I say. They've got cameras in here. Like, they're like full on like alien conspiracy theorist. He wanted to sue the government. It was not like the Canadian government. It was just the government, because they had implanted cameras in his house.
Okay, sir.
And I was like, oh, I think that's criminal law. Like, you should reach out to a criminal lawyer. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And I was like, okay.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Are you wearing a tinfoil hat? Like, are you? Just let me know. Just let me know.
So I'll let you go. Just, do you have something on your head? Is it tinfoil? Oh, okay, good.
Okay, good. Yeah. So, because I've had prank calls before, and like that one, I was not sure if this guy was just a weird conspiracy theorist or if it was a prank call. But I was like,
hard to know.
It's it's 50-50 with those ones, to be honest.
And especially this day and age, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But like, even though like my days are so much nicer, that I don't. Well, I worked in insurance law before, so I don't have insurance adjusters yelling at me. Ugh. So, I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of jobs in insurance if you want to go in that. See, yeah, and that's an awful industry too, though.
No one wants to be in insurance.
No, nobody does. I remember my friend sent me like a CRA listing, and I was like, would I have to answer the phone? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, so I'd have to answer the phone about people being mad about paying taxes. No. No, that sounds awful for me.
Look, like none of us like to pay taxes, okay? But you just
Yeah.
gotta do it sometimes.
You gotta do it. Like I used to work phone customer service, and I literally had people telling me that I should off myself because the worst I think the worst job I ever had was working for ESPN.
Mm, yeah.
So I can say that ESPN Plus was a bullshit platform. I don't know if it got mushed into Disney Plus. Um, because I don't even think it's available in Canada. But yeah, people from the South get really obsessed over college basketball, and if they can't watch it, they yell at you and tell you to off yourself. Um, or if you tell them, have you tried turning your TV on and off, and then it works, they tell you they want you to pay them thousands of dollars in reparations.
Sir, you're not that hard done by. Reparations go to
Yeah.
people who need them. You're a
Yeah.
probably white cis man. You're fine.
Yeah.
You have been
Exactly.
inconvenienced. You're okay.
See, so like you understand customer service, and so I'm gonna tell this story. So I was out to dinner with this person. So I was out to dinner with a big group, and I will like keep all the names. But so again, like someone who's never worked customer service, they don't fully sometimes understand how they treat people. They don't understand what they're doing is wrong. So they were saying that they went to a restaurant and they like this dish flipped. So it's like a hot cheese. It's like a hot cheese and broccoli. Or was it? Oh, it's like the white spot broccoli cheese.
Okay.
Broccoli and cheddar dish. And it comes in a really hot dish because you bake it in the oven.
Yeah.
And anyone knows, like boiling cheese in the oven is hot.
Yes.
So, and then you get a side of rice, and then they serve it. So, what a normal person does is they just scoop it onto the rice, right? Yeah. And when you go to a restaurant and your server tells you the plate is hot, you go, okay, thank you. Or if you're a dum-dum like me, one time I ordered fajitas and went to grab the salt and pepper over my hot plate and then got a burn on my arm. But that was my own fault.
Yes.
And I just asked them for ice. Didn't be like, you burned me. They told me it was hot. I was a dumbass. That is on me. Because I worked customer service, I know that is on me. Yeah. I mean, I have common sense. I know that is on me. But anyways, so we're at dinner, and this person says to the server, I want it flipped over the rice. And the server goes, no, unfortunately, we can't do that. The plate is really hot. And they go, so you want me, the customer, to grip it, the boiling hot plate on my hands and tip it over instead of the professionals doing it? If you don't tip it over the rice, I don't want it. I'm going to pay for my beers and leave. And this person is telling this story like, ha ha ha, and then they did it for me. And I'm just sitting there like, are you fucking serious?
Like, so do you think this story is funny? That's what I would have said back to him. Like, you think this is funny? Like, this is a haha comedy story?
Yeah, and this person will often say things that I don't agree with, and I like hold my tongue. And I was like literally like squeezing my hands under the table trying to hold my tongue, and then somebody else at the table goes, if you said that to me I would cry. And then we would make joke, and then I was like trying to change the subject, and I was like, haha, I used to cry in the walk-in freezer, haha. And I wanted to say, I was like, you're the asshole, right? Like, dear Reddit, am I the dear Reddit, am I the asshole? You are the asshole.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, your life is not so hard done by. And those are those kind of people who, when they go out to a restaurant, they're not going out to eat, they're going out to be served because they want servants.
Yes.
So that made me incredibly angry. But I didn't want to start a fight, but I was just like, really, you're the asshole here.
Yeah. I would have been like, you can post that on Reddit and have the internet tell you how much of an asshole you are. Or I'm just going to do it right now, because you're an asshole.
You're an asshole. And like the thing is this person has never worked in customer service, so they don't see any problem with it. And that's why I'm very, very adamant that everyone should at least do it once. And I think I swear wars would not be started. We would have world peace.
This actually reminds me of this TikTok I saw based on this business article where there's a new CEO of Starbucks, and he has claimed as a new CEO he is going to go to a store once a month and work as a barista.
Hmm.
And I was like, damn, like that's a pretty big claim. It's a pretty big claim,
Yeah.
sir. But the guy was going, he's like, I used to be a barista, and when I go to Starbucks, I am the nicest customer. I say everything I need to say. I say it perfectly. I say please and thank you. I always tip. I'm always really nice to the baristas. He's like, but if I saw the CEO working at the register, I'm going to sit there for 5 minutes and be the absolute worst customer he has ever seen in his life.
Hmm.
And he was going on like essentially acting out a scenario of like, could I get a what is it, like a medium, a grande, that's what you call it? Oh yeah, that size, I guess.
Hmm.
What do you recommend that's like chocolatey? No, that doesn't sound good. What about something sweet, but can I get it with like sugar free? Do you have that? And he was just like going through all like the worst possible things like a customer can say to you, and I was like, yes.
Yeah. I swear there's gonna be a Twitter account of Starbucks CEO watch. People will post it. Okay, guys, he's at this Starbucks.
Yeah, he's at this
If
one.
he
Go,
actually does
go,
it.
go.
Yeah. Or, oh, my favorite complaint was when there was a long line. Can I skip the line? I just want a coffee, not one of these stupid fancy drinks.
Oh yeah, I get that all the time. You're like, I just want a coffee. Okay,
And
great.
okay, get to the back of the line.
Yeah.
Just because you could drink coffee doesn't mean you get a VIP pass.
I think
I'm
it
sorry.
was Tim Hortons for a while, or some coffee chain actually tried to implement that.
Oh, it was Tim Hortons.
Yeah, it was Tim Hortons. They tried to make a coffee only line.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it backfired real bad because
Oh, I
obviously
think so.
we know as a society, people can't read. Everyone is Jared 18, never learned how to read. And when they would see the coffee only sign, they didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah.
So
No, it was a big fail. Like, I do think mobile ordering has worked a lot better than that.
mobile ordering, as much as I hated it when it first got implemented, it's a lot better and I use it a lot.
Yeah, because the thing is, when I use it a lot with Starbucks. I mean, but like, there's places that have implemented better than other places. For
sure.
example, when I went to Disneyland, their mobile ordering was such a shit show. They had to have so many staff explain the mobile ordering. They could have just been running the registers.
Yeah, they really could have.
Like, they could have gotten through people way faster because the amount of staff they had to have to explain the mobile ordering.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like, just use the registers. Like, it was so bad. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But yes, I think moral of the story and moral of everything is we should all just be a little bit nicer to people. Not everyone deserves it, you know. But I just finished reading the book Wonder.
Oh, the one
and-
based on sorry, that got turned into a movie?
Yes, with Jacob Tremblay and Owen Wilson and Julia Roberts. So I just finished reading the book, and a little kindness goes a long way. Now, I say this as a bit of a salty bitch. We all know this, but I know how to be nice, and I know how to be kind, and I know how to be polite, and I'm only salty to those who deserve it, like The Rock. He does not deserve my follow.
He does not deserve your follow at all.
He does not deserve it at all. But the job market is hard. Yeah. Working right now is really hard. We are in a recession. I mean, eggs cost how much? I saw cheese for $23. Like,
it's rough. It's so bad right now. And
yeah.
One thing I have been seeing a little bit is on Twitter is a little bit of corporate bootlicking. I don't know if you've seen that.
I try to get away from that. My Twitter right now is all the Barbie movie, so I am licking our Barbie's high heels right now. But
that's fine. We should all be licking Barbie's high heels. That is an acceptable shoe to lick.
Okay.
We can all lick Barbie's heels. I'm sure we'd all live a much better life.
Oh, we would.
But yeah, the amount of absolute like corporate bootlicking I've seen for like Twitter, and I will say like even like Disney. these companies are not your friends. They will never be your friend as much as you want them to be. I had a little bit of a thing at work where somebody that was pretty high up got let go. And when I saw that news, not gonna lie, I was sad. But I was kind of shocked that I was sad because he drove me nuts at work. He was like a higher up, and he would always tell me and one other coworker might be like, "You guys are my fave," and we're like, "You're so full of bullshit. You just like us because like we'll do what we'll do what you say." And not that you can like, I don't want to say he like bullied us because he didn't, but it was one of those things where he would kind of use his power to like his advantage a little bit. But as a human being, he was very, very nice, and he was very, very kind. And that's something you don't get a lot out of somebody at work. Like when I got engaged, like he was so kind to me. He came up, he wanted to hear how it happened. He was like, "You were really shocked, like you didn't hear anything at all." And then he told me his story about how he engaged how he proposed to his wife, and I was like, "Oh, this is really sweet." So he was like a really nice guy, just on like the work side of things, it was like a little much.
Yeah.
So like when he got laid off, I was like, "Oh." Like it kind of hurt, like just a little bit. So I was like, you know, if anybody was gonna be kind of mean to me, I wish it would just be you.
Yeah.
I don't want someone else coming in now having to be mean to me. But yeah, don't be licking these corporate butts, because they're not your friend. They're the ones who are charging you now to not password share. They're the ones who are like upping the prices. They're the ones making their workers miserable.
Yeah.
It's not the workers' fault. It's all the corporate people. Same with all the writers on strike.
Yeah.
They're on strike because they are treated so poorly that they can't even get like proper credit for their work. And
Exactly.
People saying AI is fine. No. AI can't write trauma, okay?
You need to look at you need to look at the top. If you're going to support a company, look how much the CEO's making. Look how much the bonuses are.
Yeah.
And be like, why does that person need that much money?
Yeah.
I walked past. So what I often do is when I walk past a corner store or anywhere that sells lottery tickets, I will look at the lottery number and think about what I would do with that money. It's a little game I play in my head. And every once in a while when it gets super big, I buy a ticket for shits and giggles. And then I think about it and I'm just like, that is so much money. And all I can think about is helping out so many people. And I was like, why do I need $60 million? Like, I joke about having a yacht. Because I look fantastic on one.
True.
But I can't imagine owning a yacht and then have my friend tell me they got laid off and I had a friend who got their landlord fucked them out of their apartment because they wanted to jack up the rent. Like, how can you live like that? I don't know. Maybe it's obviously a greed thing.
It's a greed thing. It's a power thing. It's once you have money, right, you don't want to lose it. And again, it's one of those things where you look at a billionaire, they actually don't have billions of dollars. They have billions of dollars in assets, which is why you can't tax it. Whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Still terrible. But it's when people are like, oh, well, like, it's like, it's again, it comes down to the whole argument of people saying, well, if you don't like the company, don't support it, don't work for them, don't do this. Do you know how much easier it is to say that than to do it? Especially like right now, like I'm pretty sure all our parents or even like past generations all worked for jobs that, like, I know my dad, when he was working for Air Canada, he went on strike because they wanted to get rid of his pension. So they went on strike for a long time, and this was like back in the days where they used to hire people to like come to the picket lines, like beat people up. So he experienced that. And he like fought for his wages and he got them, and now he has a really nice pension. That is something our generation does not have. We don't get that because companies decided they weren't important anymore. And so it just really sucks to see all these things like taken away and to see people just being like, well, you know, it's just like rough out there and you have to kind of like play the game. No, what game? We didn't even set these rules. We had no say in the rules. We have no chance cards. We have no ways to get, like, when we land on go, we don't get a bonus. You know? We can't even buy property on the board that is Monopoly. It is all too expensive.
Yeah.
So, drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it's a really rough time for everybody right now. You know, one thing we do have to look forward to, the Barbie movie.
The Barbie movie! I'm so excited. You haven't watched the extended trailer. It came out today.
Yeah.
And I watched it 11 minutes after it was posted. And then I texted my group chat that I have with Amy and Kaylee. And I was like, the new Barbie trailer just dropped.
Yeah. And it was really good. And it was really funny to see Barbie have a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And look, I didn't play with Barbies as kids. Like, I was not a Barbie kid. I was a Bratz kid. But this movie, I'm gonna be there front center.
The tagline is literally, if you love Barbies, this movie is for you. If you hate Barbies, this movie is for you.
Yeah. I think we're all gonna be very thankful to Greta Gerwig in July.
Yeah. Well, you're also a Greta Gerwig fan, so.
Oh yeah, her movies are fantastic. She can do no wrong. She can really do no wrong in my brain.
The only time she's ever done wrong is the failed pilot of How I Met Your Dad.
Oh. That show got greenlit though, but she has no part
no,
in
How
it.
I Met Your Father got greenlit. This is completely off topic. Yeah,
okay.
I watched a thing on Greta Gerwig. Yeah, she was in the first failed spinoff.
Gotcha.
Before we have the Hilary Duff, Lizzie McGuire 2.0.
Yes, which I've heard is also not a great show, but besides the point.
Actually not bad. Their season
really?
2 was way better than their season 1.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So, my favorite part, no, okay. Well, this is not on topic at all, so I will save this for another time.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should all just live in a Barbie utopia.
In Barbie Land.
In Barbie Land with President Barbie and the Kens.
Ken. Not just Ken, and Ken.
And Ken.
And Ken.
Yeah, that was a really cute little Easter egg in the trailer where they get arrested. Barbie and Ken both get arrested, and on Barbie's plate it just said Barbie, and then on Ken's plate it said, and Ken.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Yeah,
So
if you want some serotonin today because the job market is rough and everyone's getting laid off, and everyone's underpaid, go watch the Barbie movie trailer.
Oh, watch it.
Go watch the Barbie movie trailer and
treat yourself.
find the writers for that and go join them on the picket line. Be an ally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think that's where we'll wrap up this episode today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back, Amy from California.
Thank you.
Welcome back, me from
the Nerd Convention.
Yeah, thank you.
We all do it. We all do it. I was also at a nerd convention at the beginning of the month, so it's
I'm sorry, but were you a VIP at the nerd convention?
No,
Did you ride in a limo?
No, I was just an emotional support fiance. That's all I got.
Yeah, well, I was the VIP fiance.
Fancy.
All right, Amy, give us the outro before we get into a whose horse is bigger competition.
Mine. I'm just kidding. If we're going on size, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I have zero idea. I have no clue. But thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. We appreciate it as always. As a reminder, we're live on Twitch the first and third Thursdays of every month usually. You can I messed that up.
It's okay. I'm just trying to focus my camera. You can do a take two.
Nah, I'm gonna just keep going.
Yeah.
You can listen to the podcast on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, wherever podcasts are hosted. You can find us at Can You Take My Shift there. You can also rewatch the VODs on our YouTube channel at Can You Take My Shift. And if you watch us there, please make sure you're subscribed and you give all those videos a like. You can find us on social media on Instagram and Facebook at Can You Take My Shift. And then you can find us on Twitter at CYTMS Podcast. We always post when we go live on there, so make sure you're following. You can find Kelsey at Kelsey Peets on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. And you can find me at Shelly Amy on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch as well. But until next time, Kelsey, can you take my shift?
No, I've gotta unfollow JLo on Instagram too. I didn't even know I was following her.
What did JLo do?
I don't know.
That's fair.
Try to be relatable. Married Ben Affleck.
That's fair. That's a reasonable enough cancellation.
We've all seen Ben Affleck's tattoo. Why would you marry that man?
That tattoo is a choice, and he has to live with it now for the rest of his life.
Exactly.
Like we all have to, now that we know that it exists.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.